Daniel Harris, Dale Martin and Leon Lay had banded together to form a major drug operation, probably one of the biggest in Wales. The gangsters were said to have taken charge of the Swansea end of the drug operation, while other associates were controlling the Essex end. Together, the drug gang were responsible for shipping £500,000 worth of Class A across the border. £500,000. The Swansea gang and the Essex gang were two separate entities, but they formed a partnership that was based on trust and making money, and Leon Lay allegedly broke that trust. At the beginning, the operation worked like a dream. The men had sourced VW caddies. The Class A were hidden in the console, and police were not aware that the gang were collecting £100,000 plus per trip. However, £106,000 would abruptly be robbed at a set of traffic lights in Swansea at dyfatty junction. A car had pulled up alongside the VW caddy, which was driven by the Essex gang, and two masked men had exited the car. Immediately, the armed men broke the window before the men in the VW caddy could respond or even pull away from the traffic lights. Immediately, the armed men snatched the rucksack from the passenger inside, and the key was ripped out from the ignition. The masked men then fled the scene. It worked all too well. Now, South Wales police were made aware of the incident by witnesses. When police pieced together the movements of the VW caddy, police came to the realization that the van had been driven by members of the Essex gang, whom had previously been jailed for transporting Class A. The van had been caught on CCTV, parking at the same location as Daniel Harris, Dale Martin and Leon Lay at a house in Tepid Road in Mayhill. The specific house had been marked by police as being associated with deals being done, with intel suggesting that the property was a safe house used by the gang to store GUNs and Class A. South Wales police quickly also became aware that the drivers of the VW caddy had handed over 3 kg of high purity white to Daniel, Martin and Leon. Martin and Co had then paid the men £106,000. However, when the masked men from that car had taken the rucksack from the passenger in the van, that was the money. They had stole £106,000 that the Essex gang had just acquired. Therefore, there was reason to believe that this was a setup. Now, earlier that day, the London gang had delivered kilos of white to Pontypridd. The next stop was to deliver a shipment in Leeds after attempting to leave Swansea, when it was intercepted by the lingering gangsters. Police say that the people in the car were systematic in their approach and had to have inside information, otherwise how would you know to grab the rucksack? However, what the gang did not know was the people in the VW caddy actually had 1.25 kg of white hidden in a hidden compartment in the van, with a further £81,000 being stashed. Now, Operation Tilbury was led in conjunction by South Wales and Essex police, and when police were able to access EncroChat phone communications, it was discovered that the gang had transported a total of 50 kg of white from Essex to Wales. Now, in the aftermath of the theft, all hell broke loose. The Essex gang had contacted Albanian gangsters, and they were recruited to travel to Wales and get back the £106,000 that was stolen, even if it meant committing an M. The gang also had information that Daniel Harris, Dale Martin and Leon Lay, one of the men, were responsible for setting the Essex gang up. Because there's no honour amongst thieves, Daniel Harris and Dale Martin had then informed the Essex gang that Leon Lay had been involved in the robbery. Police recovered chat logs on EncroChat that detailed that Leon was going to be struck with ammo in the foot as a way of making sure that he paid the Essex gang back the lost £106,000, and if he didn't, the gang was going to move on to his wife. All 3 men were arrested and questioned. Martin and Leon pled guilty to supply of Class A. Daniel Harris, however, was the only person who refused to admit his guilt, and he explained that he was a completely innocent person in a sophisticated operation that saw 50 kg of white of a high purity end up on the streets of Swansea and further afield in Wales. Dale Martin was sentenced to 12 years in jail, and Leon Lay was jailed for a total of 11 years and 3 months. As for Daniel Harris, he took his chance and went to court. Now, he was convicted at trial, and therefore he received the longest prison sentence. He received 16 years. Now, it has to be said that Jonathan James Norris, who's from the Penland area of Swansea, was said to be responsible for taking the keys from the ignition of the VW caddy and also the £106,000 that was stashed in the rucksack. He was arrested before the Albanian gang could get to him, and he was jailed for 9 years, which he gladly accepted after the countless promises to end his life. Does the crime match the sentence? Let me know in the comments. Stay safe.